Profit organization Baagi Ba South Africa says it has managed to help over 36 convicted drug mules to reunite with their families after being arrested abroad. Most of those assisted are South Africans released on parole, unable to return home due to financial constraints. According to the International Relations and Cooperation Department, in 2023, about 680 South Africans were imprisoned overseas for drug-related crimes. My colleague Aldrin Simpia is still live from the OR Tambo International Airport, where he's joined by the founder and CEO of Baagi Ba South Africa. Aldrin, let's talk a little bit about some of the cases that they found of South Africans arrested and stuck abroad.
Yeah, actually this morning we were supposed to be in conversation with Sylvester, who is one of the returnees that have been assisted by Baagi Ba South Africa, and unfortunately he didn't pitch for this interview. But it would have really been nice to get his experience about how he ended up in Hong Kong, later on convicted, and how he found himself stranded in Hong Kong. But joining us now is Glory Matipile, who is the CEO of Baagi Ba South Africa, to explain also the story of Sylvester. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Fortunately, Sylvester isn't here, but tell us about how you got in touch with Sylvester and how he found himself in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay, thank you so much, Adrian. The thing with Sylvester, I got actually a message from his mom that his son is being arrested in Hong Kong, because our organization is advocating for international policy for prisoner transfer. So that's when she told me about Sylvester's story, that Sylvester was recruited for a job in Hong Kong. And then only when he got to, because before he traveled from South Africa, he was promised a job as a driver. So he was given a luggage.
But he was a pastor?
Yes, he was a pastor. So,
okay.
But he was recruited by another pastor in Johannesburg. There's a church there. So on the day when he left, he was having his own luggage. So this pastor found him here at OR Tambo, and then he gave him another luggage which has suits inside. Then he said to him, these suits you have to give them to my colleague who's in Hong Kong. And then not knowing that inside those suits there were drugs inside. So he just checked in, and then only when he got to Hong Kong, that's when he realized that he was flagged, because immediately when he got to Hong Kong, the police, they had his picture, and then they were checking his passport, and that's when they checked also his luggage, and that's how he got arrested.
So he's convicted, and then what happened?
Then he ended up spending 7 years in prison in Hong Kong. As you know that when you're arrested in a foreign country, you can't speak the language and you can't even explain yourself as to what happened. So only after a few years, when he's that side, he's starting to learn the language. That's when now he started, explaining as to what happened to him. And he was not the only one. There's a lot of South Africans in Hong Kong prison, male and female sides.
Currently as we speak?
Currently as we speak.
What's that number looking like, more or less?
We have about 67.
67.
South Africans.
And are they all convicted on drug-related charges?
Yes, most of them, they are convicted on drug-related charges. And most of them are actually victims of human trafficking, same like Sylvester. Yeah.
Where would you say some of the epicenter is when it comes to South Africans being convicted for being involved in drugs? Which countries should we be looking at? So you mentioned Hong Kong.
Yes, Brazil, Mauritius, that is where we have a lot of males, and most of them, they are whites. Mostly in Mauritius. Yes.
Yeah, and we also just heard a bit earlier on from the Department of Social Development that a 5-year-old is going to be brought back from Mauritius after their mother was convicted,
yes.
Of course. Tell us why you do what you do, because at the end of the day, these are people that were involved in trafficking drugs, they've committed a crime, they have been convicted. Why do you do what you do?
We do what we do because we believe that we are South Africans, and we believe each and every person needs to be heard. And these people, South Africans who are in those foreign prisons, they are voiceless. Like I just explained, that when they get to a foreign country, they can't speak the language. So we are advocating so that the real perpetrators, which are the recruiters, must be arrested as well, because only the decoys, which are the victims, get arrested, whilst the recruiters are still around here in Johannesburg, Cape Town, still recruiting more and more young people to go and do this work for them.
So has your work actually aided the police in trying to find those recruiters, the ones who are the masterminds behind this. I also raised this issue as well with the Lieutenant General, the Deputy Police Commissioner a bit earlier on, about the masterminds behind this. We're not seeing the arrest of the masterminds. Yes, we do see the drug mules, but the guys who are behind the scenes pulling the strings.
Yeah, that is the reason why we do this work, because we believe in justice. And when we speak of justice, why are we only speaking about those who are being arrested? Why are we not going deeper? Because when our people are arrested in foreign prisons, where did the crime start? It started here in South Africa. Is South Africa investigating how come this person got arrested in a foreign country? And when you check these people's passport, it was their first time traveling to a foreign country. And you find out most of them, others were even invited on Facebook by the people that they met, like, they meet lovers on Facebook, things like that. And then only for them to fall in those traps. So it shows that our South African security on its own, it's lacking. So our people are falling traps, and also with a huge unemployment rate in the country, it also forces our people also to fall into these traps.
Yeah, but early on we were speaking to Jabulani Kambule, who's the regional manager for the OR Tambo International Airport at AXA, and he downplayed what you've mentioned in your statement, that the issue around decoys, where you find that an individual is actually being used as a decoy. An informant has told the police that look out for such and such an individual, not knowing actually that there's a larger consignment that is actually making it through.
It's true what he just said, because the investigation is not done here. So I think it's not clued up, because as we are on the ground day in, day out, and we know that even OR Tambo itself, this is where our people live. I mean, if the OR Tambo itself was when they see that it's your first time you're traveling to Brazil, and they know that there's been cases of young people who's been arrested there, they are supposed to, to call you on the side and question you, what are you going to do in Hong Kong? What are you going to do in Brazil? So it seems like here everything is just a flow ride for anyone to come and commit crime in OR Tambo.
What would you like to see happen?
What I would like to see happening, because we took the memorandum to the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, and then he instructed us that we need to meet with the Correctional Services Minister, which by then was Mr. Lamola. And then to this day, we have not got any response from Mr. Lamola's office. So currently we have a new minister, Mr. Groenewald. I'm just asking from him that if he can meet with us and work with us on this policy, because South Africa is one of the 3 countries in the world without international prisoner transfer, but we are part of the United Nations. But our government does not want to sign this policy. That's what I can say, because this problem started in 1994. That was when we had a first South African being arrested in Hong Kong. So there's been a lot of advocates. Before me, there were other advocates like Ms. Patricia Gerbe, who was advocating, whose son was arrested in Mauritius. Like, Mauritius is ready to sign the international prisoner transfer. Hong Kong is ready to sign the international prisoner transfer. Even Minister Lindwe Sisulu, she went to Brazil 2018. She went there to conclude the prisoner transfer contract, but then she was removed from her position as a minister. So you can see that there is a lot of, dirty hands, within the ministers or whoever that is involved within this drug trafficking.
Maybe something that we should pick up with government as well and find out why there is the delay. Is it something that South Africa wants to pursue? But how many cases are you currently dealing with as Baagi Ba South Africa?
Currently, we are dealing with about 873 South Africans in foreign countries, not just abroad, even here within SADC.
Sure. Thank you so much for your time. That is the CEO of Baagi Ba South Africa. And of course, this also informs the poll that we are running today, asking you this morning, has South Africa become part of a major international drug trafficking network or networks? These are the options that we have for you. Yes, nothing is done. No, South Africa is doing better. Or do you believe that it has always been the case, or South Africa has always been part of this international drug trafficking networks? Or do you believe that we are winning the fight, considering that over the past 2 months now you have 14 drug mules that have been arrested? You can scan that QR code that is currently showing on your screen. It will take you to the landing page.